doing a review of this morning. This is going to be just a missed trade video, and in hindsight, everything looks is 2020. But seeing this now and seeing the context, kind of a tough pill to swallow because I took 2 losses today and I didn't have to. So let me hit play. I'm kind of cheating here. This is where the delta is. That kind of paints the story of what kind of battle took place, so to say, at a specific level. But so right at the open, just some quick context. We've got here's the poor prior day high. Don't have a lot of excess there, and you can see the overnight was net short. So if we start to move up, this is all-time highs, then we should expect a lot of these overnight holders to stop out, giving us a nice little pop. Also, the overnight high or all-time highs is typically not made in the overnight session, so this level is less secure. That's going to be a point to the bulls at some point, but it doesn't have to be today, right? So that is our context. To the short side, we've got this overnight low the 7K level. So we rallied from that in the overnight. That's a level that has a high likelihood of being taken out. And of course, I've got the unbalanced low here, kind of cheating. So then we've got top of single prints from yesterday. All of this is assuming we move lower, which we know we did. But the main thing is, if you look at this, I'm opening inside of prior day value, right? This is the poor high, and we're basically going to see if we're going to be busting out. And this is going to be a level. It's a poor prior day high. That is a significant level, even if it's not confluent with anything else. So let's hit play. Let's see what happens here, and I will narrate as we go. All right, main thing is sort of new in the process is we're really going to monitor delta here, but only when it hits a level, right? Only when it hits a level that we want to trade from. Prior day high is absolutely one of those levels. So once we approach that level, what you want to see is an increase in volume as we bust through that level. And are these lined up right? I think maybe just expand these a little bit. All right. So some of the things that I'm noticing is we're right at VWAP, which you sort of assume that's going to be support until we break through with significant force. And this poor prior day high, and we've tried to bust at that level a couple times. We're simply not getting a lot of volume. The thing that screwed me up here today was, I'll show you here in a moment once we get further down, because I need to, basically this right here, this overnight volume, it makes the current day's volume very small. So I guess during the session I could try to do something like that maybe. Just make it bigger, get the overnight. Yeah, I guess that'll help. It made it look like we didn't have a whole lot of volume, or at least I just put less emphasis on it simply because these were a lot smaller. So let me hit play here and show you what I missed. Okay, hey, we're at the settlement, right? And we're getting this pop in delta that was met with good volume. So we're looking at here, this is going to be 160% of the relative volume. But look at the type of candle that we got. It was a doji, right? That's not a good sign for going higher. We technically were not at the poor high or prior day high, but as we approach that level, we do want to see increased delta and increased volume, which we had for a moment, but now we're reversing. So now it's because we saw that candle and we didn't go higher and we're busting through VWAP. You sort of wonder, all this high volume and high delta, if they get caught off sides here, and this is likely short-term traders, if they get caught off sides, then they're going to have to liquidate fairly quickly. And that means that should provide a short-term pop right here. And you just monitored for more long holders to liquidate or initiating sellers. So let's keep going here. Obviously, I don't have a lot of faith in going up Ooh, okay, so here we go. This is what I missed. Look at that delta bar. Okay, it's pink. What do I know about this light blue and the pink? I set those to, or a fellow trader of mine set those to 400 times relative delta, and then the light green and then the light red or the dark red are 200 times. So the fact that we've got a lot of volume right here and a lot of delta, we have 200 times more or 100% more negative delta right here, accompanied with similar volume, 140% of normal. That's enough, guys. That's enough to take the short trade here. We rejected the prior day high, right? The poor prior day high. That is a knock on taking the short here. Okay, I'll admit that. Check this out. This is a rally basically from the prior day high, and we just have not taken that level out yet. Also, we've got the overnight high right here. So you don't know if we're going to be breaking that in this session or another session, but you know that is going to be taken at some point, or at least have a high probability. So that's a knock on the trade. I imagine that's where my head was at during the day. But this is where you should have taken the trade. And let's actually play this out. So I would have put my stop up here. I wouldn't necessarily make it hit the stop. The way I've been doing trade management is if we came back to the open, I would absolutely close out the trade. But I want to see if we come back to the open and fail to go higher. I've noticed that a lot, where it just means the likelihood of a trend day is lower because we came back to the open. Sometimes you get that little fake out, because what should happen is we continue to move higher. If we don't, then the opposite is just as equally true or equally higher probability. But anyway, so we took the trade there. Let's just see what happens for the rest of the day. Gonna do 60 speed. All right, so basically right here, the delta doesn't matter ultimately once you're in the trade, except for when you're approaching different levels, right? But okay, we've got this massive delta down here. We just blew through this level, because there's a lot of levels right here. You get the monthly high, single prints, overnight low, and then 7,000. You're likely going to have a little battle in this area. So let's hit play. Talk through my trade management thought process. All right, so that's obviously not a good sign, is having this delta, high delta, but then we have an accompanying, 200 times or 400 times delta with higher volume, so that's a good sign. And also at this point, we had all the internals were negative, so everything's said to hold essentially. We're one time framing down. We broke below single prints. I mean, it looks like this thing is going. I believe I took this trade right here, 915. As we burst through that level, I did take that trade. I got stopped out here. All right, so this is the thought process. You're already in the trade. You're at a good location. That's the main thing here. So we're trying to get at a good location so you can take advantage of the whole day. If I'm getting in here, where I did take the trade, would have been this bar. If I got in here, I mean, my risk is crazy if I want to try to get the best odds of having the trade follow through with all the information I'm using on the day. The fact that I got in down here, I simply can't risk that much. So I guess I'm bringing that up because I want to make sure you come back to that concept of, if you're not at a great location, you might have these two stop outs like I had today. So anyway, let's keep going. So what you want to see is C period break, B period low, but we are rallying off of a very mechanical level. So that means this rally inherently is going to be weaker because, it's short-term traders at the helm of it. Okay, so we got deeper into B period, but we still haven't broken one time framing. Now we're in D period. You don't want to see it break right here, but you do give it a chance because sometimes it just lessens the likelihood of a continued breakout, but sometimes you'll get a fake out like that. Where I would put my stop would have been top of B period, because if we break both of those, maybe we did. Let me bring that down here. So top of B period. Top of B, I think that trade that I did, I put it at the top of C. Let's see here. Trying to be an honest Thomas here with what I would have done based on how I'm looking at it. So that's where I would have put my stop, because if you break one time framing once, that can happen. Again, it lessens the odds of continuation, but it's something that shouldn't negate the trade or have your stop loss too tight. Where I would have put it at the top of B, because if we broke if we broke one time framing twice, there's just higher odds of going sideways that day or just a reverse. Ooh, we got deep into D period, which is not a good sign. Ooh, okay. I would have gotten like 2 points. So that's I took 2 losses at that point, but at least in this case, I'm down 2 points, or I'm up 2 points. But the main thing was I wanted to highlight what I missed at the open right here. It's this bar, and just recognizing this is still new on my chart, so it'll take some time. But just recognizing that these colors mean something, and seeing that this bar, granted this has more volume, but the delta's not as strong as this pink one going down. And that should have been my entry, just simply because it's at such a good location. All right, you already had the failure to break through the poor day or the prior day high. Right here, you basically had nothing going up in terms of delta, lower than usual volume. So if we're not going to break through that level, then take the short, take the opposite. What's the likelihood that after this we come back up to the prior day high after we just visited it and there was nothing there? You know what I mean? So let's just play out the rest of the day, and I will go over my thought process. All right, so this is not where I'd place a trade. This is going to be the best location, but you're just kind of monitoring the strength of this rally up. So here's my thought today. We're at 11 o'clock into F period. We've got value is developing inside to the lower half of the prior day value. Or I'm sorry, this is prior day. So prior day we've got right here, we're developing on the lower end, right? So half in, half out. This, just simply because we're developing lower, means you should take shorts. So at this point, I'm waiting for some build in volume and potentially take a short with the break of one time framing. I do need to incorporate price action as well with the delta here. So, and I don't trade unless there's one of these colors. You just simply increase the odds when you have a lot of momentum behind a move. And increase it at 120 here. All right, so we're at the VWAP. Again, this is not where I'd place a trade, but we did break one time frame right here, just now. So we came down. Oh no, we did right there with no delta accompanied with that. So that's not. This level right here is where I would potentially take the short. Let's see what happens. It's just such a bad location, you know? It's just because we got so close to the settlement. Oh, you know what? I did miss that too. This is a concept that's easily overlooked, but this actually would have gotten me into the trade, potentially, you know, once I get a little more advanced. Right here, you got E period came very close to the settlement and the point of control, but we didn't get there. We backed off. And let's see what happened with delta at that level. So right here, I mean, really nothing. I mean, you did get a lot of volume. Oh, that's how to read this. You did get a fair amount of volume at those levels, right at lunchtime, East Coast. Get a fair amount of volume with just not a lot of delta, not a lot of follow through. So going up to the settlement, we were trying to break through that, but we just look how flat delta got here. Your first sign wouldn't necessarily be here. I mean, that is higher delta than that's 200 times. And you got positive, so we're, let's see what the play here is. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Turned red. There we go. Are you gonna turn? No. Okay. Right here. This is the 7,000 level. Right here. And we got G period low. I need to expand this to give it a little more context. Okay. We broke through with very high volume and very high delta. This is where you could potentially take a short. So let's see what happens. Or this is what I would have been looking for. And I'd have the stop up here in G period, but probably take it out if we got up there. All right, so now, again, so this is the other thing. Since we're developing lower, price is going to take out either the initial balance high or the low like 80% of the time. So the initial balance high is right here. Initial balance low is right here. It's the basic premise of it is holding or at least assuming we're going to get down to this level. Anytime you get very close to a level and you back off, that means like in this case with E period, since we backed off and right about here is where you could safely take a short, just because we got so close and didn't hit it. So the market likes very obvious levels. And that's what Dalton preaches. And if we don't hit that level, it's just some market generated information that we're likely not going to hit that level once we start backing off. All right, let's see what I would have done here. So you want to see continued delta and volume down. Not the greatest sign right there, but it's not enough to keep you out. Let's see what happens here. Again, we're trying to hold for the imbalance low. And a day like today, and so we stopped one time framing right here. That's not a good sign, but let's see if we rally lower. Again, the breaking of one time framing. What should happen is we continue higher, but we didn't. And then once we got to that level, just not a lot of volume, not a lot of delta. So yeah, like right here. Okay. Yeah, that's a nice way to look at that. It's just once we approach that level, once we break one time framing right here, what are we breaking one time framing with? This low delta and this low volume? Yeah, I don't think that's going to follow through. Otherwise, you'd want to see higher volume, higher delta. Pretty simple. Here we go. Let's get the imbalance low. We already tried. So here's the thing. I can safely move my stop loss right here. Because if we come back to that, you pretty much know your trade's not going to work. Come on. Imbalance low. Initial balance low. Keep saying that. Okay, that's not the best sign. We're backing off from this level, man. Wow. Okay. And then we're breaking one time framing in K period. This is where I get out of this here. Flatten. Yeah. Because you're breaking one time framing again. So it's like, this day, eventually we might hit the initial balance or down here. But I mean, we broke one time framing here. You just cut your losses. So I'm down 3 points, 4 points on the day. I mean, even if it goes down right now and breaks initial balance low, the odds just weren't there. So it's not like you're missing out on anything if you're following the similar rules that I'm following. Can't remember what happened in the later part of the day here, but we'll find out. So value is developing lower relative to the prior day. We have a little bit of overlap, but not much. So any trade you're going to take, you want to take at the highest price possible, right? So see this, we came down. You can see when it's tight like this, when you have a lot of overlap, it's just a market that has very low confidence. You want to trade the high confidence markets. When you have a lot of overlap like this, it's just one of those days that you automatically have lower odds of any trade. So it stands to reason that you should handle your risk management a little bit different, be more aggressive in taking profits when you've had a lot of overlap like this. M period. So safe to say, I mean, at this point, I'm not taking a trade. What am I going to do? Like short from L period high? I mean, how much lower can we go? So wrapping up the day, that's the main things I wanted to see was right at the open that missed trade. At the end of the day, I would have been down 3 points, better than like 30 or 60 or whatever it was. I was down today trading the 9 micros, but yeah, this is how I should have played out the day if in real time I'm able to factor in all the things that I missed.